It is now 8 o'clock, and so we're going to start our time together. As you can tell by our picture here, I'm going to try to talk to you about rescuing our clients from all the pricey medications that are out there. And I'm going to kind of do this part as a teacher tonight, part as a encourager to you tonight, and part of a bit of a missionary to you tonight, because one of the struggles I think many agents have is they don't really think there's a value here, or they think that people don't need it. So I want you to know, and I'm going to try to help us see that tonight, is that what we do for people is terribly important. We had a lady today who was in the she's senior. She's doesn't make a lot of money. She's got a Part D card. She's takes 6 or 7 medications. She takes 2 different kinds of insulin. And so she's now in the donut hole. Her 2 insulin prescriptions were going to cost her $400. We were able to kind of come in and work with her a little bit, and come to find out she's going to qualify for a PAP plan, and it's going to cost her $40 a month versus the $400 a month. So trust me, that was a very happy lady when we told her that today. And I just, part of what I want you to try to hear from me today is that there are millions and millions of people in America that still struggle for trying to pay their prescription medications each and every month. If you want to test this, go hang out at a local drugstore and just kind of hang around and watch and see how many prescriptions they take up, and they get a price, and watch and see how many people take that prescription and put it back in their pocket and walk away because they can't pay the price. So anyway, the topic of our message tonight is how to rescue the client from high cost of prescriptions. The secondary message for us tonight is how to learn to be a hero when we do that for them. I'm Larry Spear. I'm the National Sales Director for this, especially the Select RX product. Then I work with all the other products with Lone Star. And again, to give you some contact information, my email address is larry@lsrxcare.org, and you can book me online and make an appointment with me so we can kind of keep it together and get you on there. And I'd love to talk with any of you. I've probably spoken to 20 agents this past week. Always a great pleasure to talk and learn together and teach some stuff. So be happy to do that for you also. So as I told you when we started, I have a great passion for this. I can't tell you that these numbers are right, but I know in my heart they're pretty close. That 50 million Americans struggle each month to afford their prescription meds. I know that estimates say that close to 1 million people would immediately qualify for a PAP plan if they just knew about it. And so our job as agents of Lone Star is to really be the evangelist for the help that we can provide for them. And the market splits in 4 different kind of sections and maybe some others. Excuse me. Well, that's good. I hate that somebody got cut out, but I guess our meeting room is full. So it's the uninsured, without any of the politics involved in it. The ACA changes, healthcare reform has not completely solved all of the uninsured program problems. There's kind of a shift in the way they get counted. There's certainly people who are covered today that were not covered before, but yet there's still millions of Americans who have opted not to participate in the ACA plans, and they are uninsured. Then there's the underinsured, There's just folks who have decided to do other alternative things for their health care, be it a limited benefit. A lot of them, just to be honest, have decided I'm going to pay the penalty and I'm going to get what I can afford. This isn't so much for low-end groups, but it's very true in the middle income area where they just can't afford if they can't get a subsidy, they're having a hard time affording $700-800 a month. And so without any kind of help, they're in trouble at the drugstore. The senior market, used to be, and I think the number's still pretty right, that like 80% of the PAP plans or with seniors today, although that number's changing. Seniors in the world, if you guys are senior agents, y'all are getting ready for open enrollment here in the next little bit. Those copays are going to continue to go up. The deductibles are going to go up. What's really hurt them a lot this year was the medications that went up tiers. A lot of the medications that last year were tier 1 are now tier 2, tier 3. Some have even moved to tier 4. We've seen many generic medications sitting in the third tier, where they were paying $5-10 for it last year. Now they're paying $45, $65, $75 for it because that's how the copays are working. In a situation like that, in case I forget to come back around, oftentimes our copay killer, our Select RX program, just will allow them to save a tremendous amount of money on those copay items. And then you've got the ACA market. This is the under 65, the health insurance that's bought off of the exchange in those states that have it, or the federal exchange for the rest. Most of the people are buying bronze and silver plans. It's the lowest premium, and that's how people tend to shop for it. The only problem with it when they buy it is they've discovered that there's there's most of the time very little doctor visits involved in it, and there's almost no insurance medication help at all. Then as they move up the path a little bit, they'll pick up some generics, and then we move up a little bit farther up the path. After they pass the deductible, then they'll pick up some help on their medications. But excuse me, many people on an Obamacare kind of plan do not have much health, much prescription coverage at all. So let's see here. All of a sudden I'm stuck. Hang on. There we go. So how do we do this? That's really what we're here to do. There's really two methods of helping people and getting comfortable in helping people. Those of you that are involved in the Lone Star prescription discount card program, it is absolutely a spectacular way to tell the story. Number one, it is that the discount card itself may save that client some significant money at the counter, but the beauty of this card is right in that bottom right-hand corner. It says if your RX is more than $20 per month, please call. And they call that 888 number. They get into one of the Lone Star advocates. They have a conversation with that advocate, and many times from that conversation, we can find that we can help that person more with either a PAP plan or the Select RX program. And the good news is that they always ask for the RX group number on there. And that RX group number, if it's your card, will have your number on there. Now, we're not going to, and you'll get credit for the sale, for the enrollment. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time tonight talking about how that exactly works. You can go out to the lstraining.net. I know many of you have been on some of some of the webinars on how the discount program works, but it is a great tool where you can spread the word in thousands and thousands of places just by spreading those cards. It's a very good viral way to get the message out. Truthfully, you'll make some money giving out the discount cards because you get compensated for any prescriptions that get adjudicated. But the money to you is is from the enrollments that will precipitate coming out of us being able to help them. So anyway, that's method one. If you really want to grow your business, if you really want to grow your and recruit, and you really want to help people get your cards printed, they don't do you any good sitting in your bedroom or in your office. You got to have a plan. You got to get them out into the places where people will pick them up and use them. Yes, I know there are a lot of cards out there, but yours is better than most, and because of that little part right in the bottom right-hand corner, it is better than most because we can help that patient well beyond just a discount at the pharmacy counter. So anyway, that's method number one. If you don't like talking to people, if you're scared to talk to people, if you're brand new in the business and don't think you know what to say, get you a whole bunch of these cards printed up and just go pass them out. Take them to churches, take them to senior citizens areas, and we'll do another training on that here before it's too long. But just get them out there and let the card do the work for you. The second method, in my opinion, is the better method. Excuse me for coughing. And it's really if you're on the call and you're an insurance agent, or if you've had sales experience, it's the process that you've learned over and over and over again. It's a matter of collecting some information. It's a matter of doing some analysis so you can determine the best solution for the person's problem, and then it's coming back and bringing some valid recommendations to the client, to the prospect. It sets you apart from most people. You're now an advisor instead of a salesperson. You're feeling like you've brought value to them. Your value proposition goes way up. You're a consultant. It's just a good and powerful way to do that. Not to mention, you're going to have an opportunity to have a conversation with these people. And if you can save them a lot of money while you're sitting there, you're going to get a list of all their friends and neighbors that you're going to go see, which you won't be able to do on method one. That's why method two, in my opinion, is a better way to do it. So method two works this way, and we've decided to make this very easy for you, even though I obviously messed up my PowerPoint slide. This is right out of the lstraining.net site. If you go in here and punch on the medication availability, I've given you the website or the link down here that you can jot down, but you can find it. I've talked to Lone Star, and what we've agreed to do is if you'll get in here and have a conversation with your client, go right to this website and fill out this electronic form. Make sure you put your agent ID down there underneath the phone box so we can know who to reply to and who to send this back to. Our advocates will do the work for you. We'll look at the data that's in here, and we will send this information back to you so that you can go close them. If you would prefer to just let the advocates call the patient or the prospect and do that for you, there's a place at the bottom that I couldn't get on the slide. Just put the notes in there. Please call, and we'll be glad to do it. And they're going to be willing to pay you for doing that. But if it were me, I'd go back and see my client again, my prospect, because when I wow them with how much money I can save them, I want to have my pad and paper or pen ready to jot down the referrals they're going to give me. So, what happens in the analysis? Well, because we're going to do it for you, you know, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with this tonight, but basically here's the process, because as you're having a conversation with somebody and you kind of get an idea how you can help them, basically this is the flow of how to do what we do. So if you had that piece of paper filled out, you had that form filled out, just in a fact finding kind of basis, you'll get a list of the medications that they're taking. You'll see how much out of pocket they're paying when they go to the drugstore, and they'll be very happy to tell you all of that. Then the analysis begins to sort of walk through the triage. Number one, if the brand names are involved, and if the client, if there is a PAP program for the brand name, and most of them have one, and if the client prospect qualifies financially and in all the other ways that they qualify for a PAP plan, then PAP's the way to go. You guys know this, $25 enrollment fee. They pay Lone Star $20 a month, and we do the work. They get a packet that goes out the door that tells them the information that we've got to gather from them. We work with the physicians, because that's always the hard part, to get the paperwork filled out. We get it all bundled up, put a bow on it, send it to the pharmaceutical houses. And we track all that for them. The pharmaceutical houses ship all that to the patient or the doctor's office, depending on which one it is. And that's it. The patient has received, in many cases, a 90-day supply of medications that would be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for free, or little or free. And all they've done is paid us a $20 per month per medication service fee to do all that hard work. Let me preach to you just a minute. As I've talked to some agents here in the last little bit, they feel like, you know, well, gosh, that for some reason we stumble over this idea that we're asking somebody to pay us to do this. The truth is they could do it themselves. The truth is their doctor could do it for them. But here's the problem. It's so complicated. It's so aggravating. It's that they're just not going to do it, and they're going to keep paying those high-price pharmacy prices, or they're going to do without. And I tell them all the time, I can probably change the oil in my car, but I'm not going to. I can probably clean my own teeth instead of going to a dental hygienist, but I'm not gonna. And so this is a small price that we charge to do a pretty labor-intensive task for them. So anyway, enough of that, but you got the idea. If the name brand, if they have name brand drugs, and they don't meet the PAP requirements, then what do? Well, this is the secret sauce to the SelectRx program. They get a local card. They can take the card to any of those 65,000 pharmacies in America. They can use it there if they want to. But the beauty of the SelectRx program for name brand medications is the special mail order. And if you haven't looked at those sample pricings in that section in the lstraining.net section, you really take a look at that. They're staggering. I mean, they're just staggering. So, you know, if you got somebody who's taken, I always use Abilify. You know, I've told this bad story before, but if I were depressed and my doctor put me on Abilify, and I went down to the drugstore and the guy told me it was $1,200 for 30-day supplies, I'd be terribly depressed. And so to be able to help them out and get them the medication at a place they can afford is just a great task. So anyway, that's the second step. If there are generics involved and they're paying more than a $10 copay, again, the Select RX is the deal. That copay crusher that's built into that thing, for 80% of the medications in America are written today are generic, but generics are not $4 in most places anymore. You know, some of these generics are, you know, like I said, $45, $75 on these copay plans. And oftentimes they can take our PBM card down to that local pharmacy and pay cash way cheaper than they can pay their copay. Again, if you've heard me do this example on another webinar, I'm sorry. But I pay close to $16. My wife works for a company that uses Blue Cross Blue Shield through Express Scripts, large Blue Cross client in the state of Georgia. My copay for 90 lisinopril 20 milligrams on her prescription plan is close to $16. The cash price at my independent pharmacy is $10. The Select RX price on our PBM card at that same pharmacy is $5.61. Now I want to ask you the question, what's the difference between those three prices? The cost of the medications are the same. Most likely the fee to dispense it's pretty much the same. Why is the PBM from Blue Cross Blue Shield Express Scripts making $9 more than what we're doing? You can jump to your own conclusion about that. But anyway, I digress. The generics with the copays greater than $10, we will save 70% of the population a significant amount of money. So what do you do with that? Well, all right, so the first step was gather some information. The second step was do an analysis, which we've agreed to do for you. We will, you know, this will come back to you, and then basically what I do with them is you make a little chart that looks something like this. But basically, Mr. Prospect, you were paying $406 a month for all your medications out of pocket. You know, between the PAP program and the Select RX program that we're going to put you on, we've got your cost down to $201. We saved you $205 if I remember my example and my math right. And so I've netted you $205. And by the way, my service fee is only going to be $59. So I've saved you $150 and change every month. That's a pretty good deal, don't you think? And that's really all you do with them. Now, I made all that scenario up. Some cases it won't be that good, that strong. In other cases, it'll be tremendous. That the lady today, she was paying in excess of $400 for two of the insulin programs. Her new monthly meds cost is going to be $40. So we're going to charge her, her new med cost is nothing. We're going to charge her $40 to do it. She's going to save $360-something. Do you think that was a good deal for her? Do you think she will give us a list of her friends and neighbors? Because seniors know seniors, to where we might be able to extend the same assistance to them. If you're on this call and you're a final expense agent, if you're on this call and you're a Medicare supplement agent, and if you grasp the value of what our programs will do for you, not only will you make a little money, but what we've allowed you to do using these tools for many of your prospects is to find the premium dollar to pay for that which you get paid a lot of money for. So we'll have that training session here and again soon. All right, so I've lost time, so let me keep on going. So basically, what's in it for you? Well, financially, it looks kind of small when you just look at $5 and $9. But this, for every PAP program that you do, it's going to pay you a $5 commission. That's every month that the thing's in force. The agent today with the lady with the 2 insulin products will make $10 a month as long as that's in force. And if a Select RX comes along, then there's a $9 payment to you, a commission to you that comes in every month. And again, this is a multiplier. So if you got 100, you got 100 clients doing this, you can jump to your own conclusion there. You can figure it out. If you got 500 going, and that's more than possible, you can work the math out. But again, the what you see here is the tip of that iceberg because of the number of referrals you'll get. And if you're an insurance agent, the premium dollars that you can free up to sell those other products are spectacular. Many of our agents are doing very, very well on selling PAP plans and Select RX programs, and we certainly hope you become one of those. So, are you ready to be a hero? I really want you to think about that just a minute. It sounds a little bit corny, but the reality of it is for some senior who's making less than $20,000 a year in income, if you could save her $300 a month on her insulin injections, would you be a hero? I believe you would be. And again, that's not every person that you talk to can you help. Let me make sure you understand that. I happen to be one of those people. God's blessed me with good health. I take a lisinopril tablet. I told you that story. Talking to me, who's paying $6 every 90 days for my medication, you're not going to get very far with me. Except I have a wife who takes a lot of medications. And so you just gotta go through a certain number of people to find the people you can help. If you can't help them, you thank them and you ask the question, who do you know? So basically, if you're ready to be a hero, it's a simple matter of having a conversation. In that conversation, you need to get in your own language. But it goes something along the lines, hey George, are you paying too much for your prescription medications? Or Miss Sally, are you struggling trying to have to pay for those monthly conversations? And just ask an open-ended question and let the client, the prospect, answer. And just engage them in a conversation. You don't have to strong-arm them. You don't have to hype them. You don't have to sell them anything. You don't have to push them anything. You just begin a conversation with them, or are you paying too much? On our prescription card, I think it says that if you're, are you paying more than $20 a month or are you paying more than $20 out of pocket for your prescription? Are you paying more than $50? I don't know what the number is for you, but just find you an open-ended question about beginning a conversation about their expenditures for prescriptions. And it's a gentle conversation that starts, hey, Mr. Prospect, would you mind if I ask you a question? Are you struggling paying for your prescription medications? Well, yes, I am. Well, if I could show you a way to possibly save you a significant amount of money, could you give me a few minutes to talk? Well, sure I can. And you just begin that conversation, and then that's going to move you right on into the, hey, Mr. Prospect, would you mind if I gathered up a little information from you so that I can do a good go through all of our resources of finding you a better price? Could we spend just a few minutes and let me jot some stuff down, and I'll do some homework, and in the next day or two I'll give you a call, and if I can help you, if I can't help you, I'll call you and tell you. But if I can help you, then I'd like to sit down and show you how I can do that. Is that fair? And get their agreement, and then fill out the form and thank them for their time, and go on to the next one. And that's pretty much simply how it works. Or if you ask the question, are you paying too much for your prescriptions? And the guy says, I don't really spend any money on prescriptions. Okay, well, that's really great. You're very fortunate. Do you know of anybody in conversation that you've had that are spending a lot of money? And most of the time they'll go, yep, I was talking to Sally the other day at the senior center, and they were paying. You know the deal. Let me finish it up this way, and then I'll flip over and see if I can bring this thing up and try to see if there's anything in the chat box. I want you to get the idea that you really are helping people with these programs. And because you're helping them and you're saving them a bunch of money, by the way, we don't ever get somebody enrolled in something and charge them a fee if we can't save them more than what they pay us. It just doesn't work that way. Number one, it's not good business. And number two, they're not going to stick with it anyway. So, we try to have a good return on investment for what they pay us. But I'm telling you, folks, that in many, many, many instances where you'll just have a conversation with them, you'll find out that they're really struggling. People are really struggling trying to pay for some of these $300, $400, $500, $600 a month prescription costs that they've got. So anyway, I appreciate that. Let me see if I can bring the chat thing up. Yeah, let's see. We did get some calls. Let's see if I can read them in my old age. Well, somebody marked on here just kind of affirming that they work in the senior market, and the biggest advantage is that many of the companies have taken a lot of medications off of the formulary. And when that's the case and they don't have alternatives, they're paying for it. You may have seen it here recently. Express Scripts have already announced that they're pulling another 20 of these high-priced drugs off of their formulary for next year. And somebody said that they've signed up MedSup clients. That's right. Select RX prices well, you guys are doing advertising for me. Select RX prices are so good that a client might not want to deal with Part D at all and eliminate the worry of the donut hole. Well, I would tell you that's true, but you probably ought to. We'll have a senior night one night, but you probably ought to keep them on some sort of the lowest cost Part D card you can give them, just to kind of keep them in there with credible coverage. And are the income requirements in the training? Yes, they are. They're again, they're in the LSRX training site. But just know that they are guidelines. There's variables that come into play with income requirements. So I'd always call the office and after you get the information gathered so you can see. All righty, so it looks like, what is PBM-based prescription? Well, a PBM, I'm sorry, I should define abbreviations. A PBM is a pharmacy benefit manager. In today's pharmacy world, all of that is run by a series of PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers. Express Scripts, Medco, CVS are the three biggest in the United States, but there are dozens and dozens of others. But basically, they're the sort of a clearinghouse of what the drugs cost, what the manufacturers charge, the rebates that go back and forth based on volume. Anyway, they do the adjudication for the pharmacy. They check the insurance. They make sure that your insurance card is working, and properly and all that sort of stuff. So they're big players. This is not, somebody asked, does this fall under Medicare rules about advertising? This is not an insured product, so no, it doesn't have it's not a CMS covered kind of event, which if you're a senior agent, you which is good to have because you can prospect with it while you can't prospect with some of those other things. Okay, last chance, and then again, I'm not looking at the clock, but I try to keep these things within a reasonable length of time. Actually, somebody asked about ProCare RX. We use 2 PBMs. That's one of them. Happens to be the one on the Flex card that some of you, this 4-tier card that some of you may have sold already. We also use another PBM. They run pretty much in parallel. In the answer about the mail order, there is a mail order program through ProCare, but it is not the special mail order program. Truthfully, just us talking, the pricing on the ProCare mail order isn't much different than the pricing on their local that you could buy at the local store, and in fact, many times the local pharmacies are even a little bit more or a little bit cheaper. All right, well, listen, I appreciate y'all being with me here on a Tuesday night. We're going to do a training every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. You're certainly invited to do that. If I got lucky and got all the technology to work, this will be recorded and posted, and I'll be announcing a kind of a Lone Star agent training site here in the next day or two, and I'll have it posted up there. If you need me or you have any questions or you want to talk, you can go to larryspear.youcanbook.me and make an appointment with me, or you can email me at larry@lsrxcare.org, and I look forward to talking with you, any of you. And again, I appreciate the time, and y'all have a good evening. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.